Today, it is vital for you to create an anonymous ghosted company with a bank account. But it does require a few extra steps because since 2013, banks constantly share information, and most people would say that private banking doesn't exist. Let me show you a bit of an example. Now, this is a banking map of the entire world. You have a bunch of green countries, yellow countries, and gray countries. We won't talk about the gray countries because they're on a blacklist and you technically can't use them. All the green countries are part of the Common Reporting Standard. And what that essentially means is that if you're going to open an account in Mexico, or a popular destination is Panama, and if you think that Panama won't report your banking details to your home residency, think again. All of the information is shared all the time, 24/7. That's what they call automatic exchange of information. Now, logically, you would say, but what about those yellow countries, right? Well, they're not part of the Common Reporting Standard. So they're private, right? Well, that's what a bunch of YouTubers would tell you. They would say that, heck, of all places, if you would open an account in Kazakhstan, that is private banking, and you would be able to get away from the grasp of tax authorities. I'm here to dispel that myth once and for all. It's completely not true. Yes, these yellow countries won't automatically report your information, but if your country asks for it, they'll have to give it up. That's what they call exchange of information upon request. They all have private conventions between one another, whether it be for mutual assistance or exchange of information, and that's simply not private. So, is private banking dead after all? What if there is a country that is unrecognized, and by its very nature, it can't be part of these international information sharing conventions? And also, it is integrated into the international banking, so it's not completely useless. Well, there are certain countries such as Taiwan, Northern Cyprus, Somaliland, that cannot take part of these CRS agreements. So if you have, for example, Northern Cyprus, which is unrecognized by every country in the world except for one, and that's Turkey, your government can't even access your information because the tax authorities don't admit that the country exists. The only place that Northern Cypriot banks share information with is Turkey because they're integrated with it. And that way they can actually access the international banking. So you can send and receive money from all the places across the world. However, they cannot access your data. And the beauty of that is that most of the large banks in Northern Cyprus actually are subsidiaries of larger Turkish banks. So that means that you automatically get also a Turkish bank account. Now, don't get me wrong, just because Northern Cyprus won't disclose your information to your local tax authorities, because it's an unrecognized country, does not mean that the banks open accounts left and right without any checks. In order for it to interoperate with the Turkish banking system, it has to go with the three-letter acronyms that we know as KYC, AML, CDD, EDD, CFT, just to name a few of them. And to be quite frank, that's kind of a good thing because if not, it would be a red flag for you to go somewhere else. It's just not a reputable banking institution. Now, today, it is vital for you to know somebody who knows how to approach these institutions, whom to call, how to show your profile, because at the end of the day, it's the bank that gets to decide whether or not it wants to work with you, and you want to increase the probabilities that they'll open an account for you. That's why the next step might be to work with us, because we specialize in complying with banking KYC. And what I mean by that is presenting your profile and company documents in a way that the bank finds favorable, such as mitigating the perception of your business's risk, or reframing transactions in order to comply with banking guidelines. In fact, our service is comprehensive and all-inclusive, from company registration to opening a Northern Cypriot bank account to securing the Northern Cypriot residency. We cover everything from the company registered address, to the certificate of incorporation, to the memorandum, to the free zone operating license and the tax office registration, as well as arranging for a formal employee for statutory guidelines. We help you with all the KYC and documentation for opening the bank account and give all the tools necessary to secure a Northern Cypriot residency. Now, if that sounds good to you, you can go to assetprotectionadvisors.com and register for a free 30-minute complimentary call where we can understand how we can best serve you. I'm looking forward to speaking to you very soon, and bye-bye.